This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and on the show with us again is Rebecca Kiessling, international pro-life speaker and attorney. Also, she is the founder and president of Save the One, a global network of about 900 individuals, including those who were conceived in rape, as well as mothers who became pregnant through rape. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining us on the program again.
Thanks for having me, Christian.
So you were recently in South Carolina in regards to H3020, the South Carolina Heartbeat Protection from Abortion Bill, correct?
Yes, I was back in South Carolina for that.
So this bill was introduced in the session of the legislature last year, and many in the pro-life community have supported the bill initially because of how it would protect the preborn once a heartbeat has been detected. But I understand that Save the One has had some issues with the bill. Can you discuss what those are?
Well, it was originally a clean bill with no exceptions, and then Republican Representative Nancy Mace started talking about her rape, and she got the exception added in the House, and it moved on to the Senate, where I was able to testify as the expert witness for the bill. And I was the last person to testify on the pro life side. And in the subcommittee hearing, they voted to remove the exceptions. But then it went to a full committee without a hearing, and they added the exceptions back in. Right now, we're wanting to get the exceptions out again, but there's some issue with the Republican leadership. And we also have a problem with the pro-life leadership, sadly, in the state, because the National Right to Life affiliate has always supported legislation with exceptions in it. And I've had run-ins with them before where it was terrible to see how the sausage was made, as they say, seeing how the legislation goes and why there's exceptions. And when you have pro-life leaders backing politicians who want the rape exception, you're really stuck. I'm really thankful for Personhood, South Carolina, who really wants to see the exceptions out, even though their preference, they really are for personhood. Heartbeat bill would not be their choice. They want to see abortion completely ended. They see how important it is to get these discriminatory exceptions out.
So the difference between a heartbeat bill and a personhood bill, correct me if I'm wrong, the heartbeat bill kicks into effect once the heartbeat has been detected, usually at the 10-week period, whereas the personhood?
No, it's around the 6 week period.
6 week
Some
period.
states vary a little bit on that, but yeah, around 6 weeks, which is when most women find out they're pregnant.
And
Most abortions are after that.
and the personhood, that one would declare that the preborn child is a human being from the moment of conception, correct?
Is a person. I mean,
Is a person.
scientifically, yeah, scientifically we know that they're a living human being, but the 14th Amendment doesn't say no state shall deprive a living human being of their right to life. It says no state shall deprive a person
Correct.
of their right to life or deny a person equal protection. That's why personhood has always been, so-called the name of the game legally, because it's a legal structure, really.
So you
People
testified you testified in the South Carolina legislature last year about H3020. Can you tell us how that went and how your testimony was received by the legislators at the time?
I mean, it went really well. I had a 10-minute slot because I was there as an expert witness, as the expert witness for the pro-life side. And it just goes to show that when you have a strategy where you make that kind of decision, who you're going to bring in as the expert witnesses really makes a difference. I mean, just for example, in Congress, I've never been invited to testify, and I've never heard of anyone conceived in rape ever being invited to testify. So when they say, oh, we can't help having a rape exception, in all these bills in Congress, which just about every bill in Congress, almost everyone, has a rape exception. Well, like, that's not a real strategy if you're not bringing in people who are conceived in rape or mothers from rape. Like, you're not trying. And so, yeah, we were able to get the rape exception out after that hearing, and the video like kind of went viral. I mean, somewhat. There is I posted it, and a number of people posted it, and one of them was activist mommy. I think she had like really quickly in short order, there were like 140,000 people that watched it. And probably most of those were from South Carolina. So that's like really good news that people were getting the word out because Nancy Mace, the state rep who added the rape exception, got so much attention. I mean, it made national news. I was getting Google alerts constantly. So, we have to have a strategy to fight back and to, get the media waves and all that kind of stuff to be able to change public opinion. That's part of it. It's part of the strategy.
And speaking of fighting back, you were back in South Carolina last week at a rally. How did that go?
It went great. Actually, they said that Personhood South Carolina brought me in, and they said they really brought me in just for one person. There was one Republican leader who was really key to be able to move this forward to try to get the rape exception out. And sort of without his blessing, like there would not be an opportunity based upon like, the rules committees, all that kind of stuff to get this out. And I suggested asking for a private meeting. What ended up happening is he came to the rally and he was there the entire hour, heard all the speakers, and he heard my like a 23-minute speech. And he came up to me afterwards and he thanked me for being there. And Ashley Lawton was there too. She's from South Carolina and she was conceived and raped. She's a pastor's wife. And of course, he also heard the speech of Senator Richard Cash, and why it's so important to get the rape exception out. So this particular legislator came up to me, thanked me for being there, and very soberly said, God is really working on my heart with this issue of the rape exception. And the way he said it to me was so profound that I instantly started crying. Okay. So it was a really powerful moment, and we'll see what happens.
So what's next for the bill? Is it still in committee, or does it have to get will there be a vote on the floor of the legislature soon on this bill?
There's a couple of ways to try to get the rape exception out. There's like a rules committee cloture issues. Every state is so different, and they start talking about the ins and outs of how the sausage is made in their state. And, it's hard to articulate exactly how things go in every state. But the idea is that there's two different ways that they could get the rape exception out. So we need people to contact their legislators.
Absolutely, absolutely. And has the governor also weighed in on the personhood aspect or the exceptions, or has the governor sort of been kind of silent and just see how things go first?
Yeah, I think the governor's been silent. But the governor, was originally saying, my understanding, that there would be support for the bill like without exceptions. So, like when it was originally filed. So we'll see.
If hypothetically this bill passes with the exceptions still in them, what would be the next game plan for Save the One, or is that too premature to ask that question?
No. We have local counsel, and I made it clear actually in my speech that we would sue the state of South Carolina. The key is that you have to have local counsel who's willing to move forward. We had local counsel when we sued Iowa. We were told we had local counsel in Georgia, but they ended up backing out. That was really disheartening, because now what you've got is you have the Kentucky case. The Kentucky law was the first one passed, and had no exceptions. You got to understand the Iowa one was held unconstitutional at their state Supreme Court level, because their state Supreme Court found a right to an abortion under the state constitution. That's what they're doing state to state now. Planned Parenthood sees the writing on the wall. They're afraid of all these heartbeat laws. And so they're suing in state court, where they know that they have a liberal judiciary. Yeah, they want to make sure that when Roe is overturned, that even in red states where you have liberal judiciaries, that they would have a right to an abortion under the state constitution. So the only remedy is either a personhood measure to amend your state constitution, or a measure to just simply declare under your Constitution that there's not a right to an abortion. And some states have been doing that, like Tennessee did that. Iowa's working on that.
So, for those watching in South Carolina right now, what would you tell the voters in the electorate of South Carolina with regards to this bill, H 3020?
Well, first of all, the innocent child does not deserve to die for the crimes of the rapist. I ask people, look, would you support a law that authorizes rape victims to be able to pay someone to kill her rapist or just her innocent child? Because that's what it is. It's a hit. I mean, Planned Parenthood abortion clinics are paid assassins, they're hired hitmen. And there's absolutely no due process whatsoever. I mean, can you imagine just allowing rape victims to just pay people to kill their rapists? That would be total anarchy, and we would never stand for that. But you can kill her innocent child. And of course, you should punish the wrongdoer, punish rapists, not babies. But please contact your legislators. Accepting the exception is child sacrifice. It's like putting forth that child on the altar and saying, may the Lord accept this sacrifice. I mean, it's so sacrilege. It's horrible. It's totally contrary to the heart of God. I was created by God in His image for a purpose.
That's right.
So please fight for us.
Amen. Well, Rebecca Kiessling with Save the One, SaveTheOne.com and RebeccaKiessling.com. Thank you so much for being on the show with us, and we hope to have you on again. And, of course, we hope that this bill gets through in South Carolina without those exceptions.